Shabbat Shalom. There are certain men who just know how to accessorize. So when I look at the award shows, there are certain guys who know how to pull off a piece of jewelry. Chalamet, Bieber, for those of the previous generation, it was Liberace. The high priest definitely has it going on in terms of the accessories, what really makes the outfit come together. And in particular, there are two pieces that are part of the high priest, the Kohen Gadol's garments, that are bejeweled in a way that would be of notice. So one on the shoulders and one on the heart. So we are told that the high priest on his shoulders had two avnei shoham. These are stones of lapis lazuli, and engraved on them are the names of the tribes of Israel, the names of 6 tribes on one, 6 tribes on the other, and they are upon his shoulders, epaulets if you prefer, and they are a remembrance before God. The Kohen Gadol has these 2 stones on his shoulders, but he has a much more dramatic piece, the Choshen Mishpat, on his heart, on his chest. So the Choshen Mishpat is 12 stones of different colors and cuts, brilliant gems, set in a framework, hanging down. They light up with divine radiance. This is a piece that is not to be missed, right? This is Flavo Flav. But here, too, it's nice to know who my people are, right? But this piece as well, we are told, is as a way of remembrance. We are told that is also lizicharon lifnei Adonai, that this, too, is a remembrance before God. So that we have the Kohen Gadol has these 2 very dramatic accessories. On his shoulders, 2 stones that have the names of the tribes of Israel facing upwards towards God. And then on his chest, this dramatic piece, 12 gemstones, each of which has inscribed the name of a particular tribe, each one unique and distinct and radiant. And the question that our sages ask, and I want to explore with you, is why have 2 different accessories, both to remember the names of the tribes, one on the shoulders and one on the heart? And what I'd like to suggest to you is that from these 2 pieces of ornamentation, we can actually learn some significant lessons about how we carry things that are important to us. Do we carry them in our hearts, or do we carry them on our shoulders? So the Choshen Mishpat, this dramatic breastplate, gets a lot of attention in our tradition. When you see pictures of representations of the high priest, it is always very much there. And in the legends of our people, we are told that it was used, it is connected with the Urim v'Tumim, also the motto of some off-brand community college somewhere. But that it is a way that the high priest could consult with God. Whereas we really don't hear much about the avnei zikaron on the shoulders. So what does it mean to have something that is being carried from heart to shoulders? Now, if you have a pain going from your heart to the shoulders, don't stay here, go to the emergency room. But I'd like to suggest to you that this is what we can think about. That we often think about carrying someone or something, a person, an idea, a cause in our hearts. And there is something that is unique and special about that. So the Choshen Mishpat, which the high priest carries on his hearts, gives something different for each one of the tribes. Each tribe has its own unique stone, its own particular color and cut, because each person is unique. Each person is different. Because when we are carrying people in our hearts, we can think about each one of them as individuals. We can think about each one of them as what do they need, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, how we can differentiate them one for the other. On the other hand, when you carry someone on your shoulders, you can't just say, I'm only going to help this person. You have to say, well, wait a minute, I have to think about the environment, the surrounding. I can't just help this one person without also thinking about their family, without thinking about their community, without thinking about their nation, about who they are, about their environment. When I carry something in my heart, so the high priest has this choshen mishpat, which is a tool of communication. So it lights up and he knows what God wants to tell him. The choshen mishpat faces outward to the people. The epaulets, the stones that he carries on his shoulder, point upward to God. So when we are carrying someone in our hearts, we can wait, we can discern, we can contemplate. When we are carrying someone on our shoulders, when we feel a sense of responsibility, sometimes we can't wait until we get exact instructions. We've got to do something, because if we wait until the magic 8-ball tells us what to do, it may be too late. So I'd like to suggest that you think for a moment about who do you carry in your heart, by thinking about them, by pondering them, by reflecting on them. Who do you carry on your shoulders by actually doing something? So when you carry someone on your heart, great, I put their name on the Mishaberach list, where there they languish until someday I remember to take them off, right? Carrying someone on your shoulders means actually calling them, finding out how they're doing, maybe even going to visit them. Carrying someone in your heart. So I have made it a practice to not give a sermon every time that there are people shot in this country, because I don't give that many sermons. But those of you who have friends who have connections at UJA know that that community is in distress about what happened there this past week. Well, carrying UJA in your heart is about extending thoughts and prayers, right? Carrying a community on your shoulders is saying, well, what am I going to do to make changes in our state that actually make people safer? Carrying someone in your heart, that's a post on Facebook. I found the perfect Instagram image to let people know just how I feel, right? Carrying on your shoulders might actually mean showing up to a rally, showing up to a protest, might actually mean getting up and doing something, calling a representative. When I think about Israel at this moment, so there are many of us, I think, who carry Israel in our hearts, right? We read articles, we doom scroll, we read, right? What does it mean to carry Israel on our shoulders? What does it mean to actually advocate, to give, to actually get up off our tuchuses and go over there? Because, by the way, one of the most amazing things you can do from Israel right now is go over there and actually buy something, right? As much as it is important, as much as Israel needs people to pick grapefruit, grapefruits are about to be out of season over there, right? The fact is, contributing to the economy, letting Israelis know that we cared enough to show up, actually matters a great deal. That is the difference between carrying Israel in your heart and carrying your people on your shoulders. I could give us a lot more examples, and maybe you can come up with your own, of what it means to carry something in your heart or on your shoulders. Because there are a lot of things that we say we care about. And by the way, the choshen mishpat is very flashy. Everyone says, oh, they must really care, right? They posted about it on Facebook, on Insta. For you younger kids, it's like Snapchat, but it doesn't delete itself. For those of us, though, right, what does it mean to actually carry something on your shoulders, to actually feel the weight? Because I want to point out something about the Kohen Gadol, which is what God saw was not the names on the Choshen Mishpat, was not the names that were hanging down in the Kohen Gadol's chest. That was to see everyone else. What God noticed, what God cares about, was those tiny stones, because that was where the names were written that were facing up to heaven. So God's happy that there's stuff in your heart, but God cares most what's on your shoulders. What are the burdens that you choose to bear? Who are the people who you choose to visit? When do you actually lean in and invest and give of yourself and take on the strain, not just of sittering, thinking about it while you sit at your kitchen table, but when you actually get up and on your shoulders with yourself, go up and say, I'm going to carry something. I'm going to take a share of their burden. I am going to be with them. So the Kohen Gadol had to do both. When you are caring for hundreds of thousands of Israelites, if each with different wants and needs, to actually physically care for each one uniquely, to care about thousands of people one by one, is beyond the grasp of even the greatest of people. But to care about people as a collective and to say, I am going to put my shoulder into it, I am going to get up, I am going to do something, I am going to make a difference, I'm going to give, I'm going to go, I'm going to call, I'm going to talk to this person and not just think about them in my heart. That's what God notices, that's what God sees. Because God cares what's in our hearts, but God cares a little bit more about who we carry on our shoulders. Shabbat Shalom.